Okay, guys, this is going to be my review of Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit, I just finished watching. I really loved it. I think this film felt magical in the way where you can have comedy, yet somehow like good comedy, like good jokes and funny, but yet have it so heartfelt and so emotional and deep. Where it's not many, if none, comedies do that. And I think Taika Waititi has proven time and time again he can throw in the motion and throw in the depth. And I think that is it. And it makes for a good mix. I think if you just saw the synopsis for this film, you might be turned off by it. But when you kind of look past that and you look at what it's really about, of someone going in with that mindset and growing to the ultimate, I guess, what would it be? Like, I guess, like the judge, I wouldn't say don't judge a book by its cover, but I guess the ability to have, what if you, this idea of two unlikely people be able to grow and care for each other. I think that's, because that's really about what it's about, where it's like you can have two people from two opposite, what would I say, walks of life, like complete opposite walks of life, and grow to care about each other throughout film that has jokes, and on the basis wouldn't seem like a bad film to make a World War II Nazi comedy, but at the same time, they do it in a way where you see from a boy who is born into this world that is hateful, but how he can learn to love and be compassionate to others, while again, like I said, being funny, where it's like it can be some of the most the crazy thing about this film is it can sometimes have some laugh out loud jokes, but then some nearly tear I can't believe I can't say this. This film can have very laugh out loud comedy and humor, but yet nearly tearjerker moments. Like the shoe scene was great, and I love the shoes in this film, and I love the representation of the shoes. Always tie your shoes, and I love when his mother keeps tying his shoes. Then he sees his mother hanging from the head, and you just see the shoes, and he goes to tie her shoes, and he can and hugs her legs. And then she sees that Elsa's shoes are untied, and then ties, her shoes. And it was just this great symbolization of shoes. But there's just so much of that, where it's like Taika Waititi knows how to balance very, very well humor and heartfelt, emotional moments very well. You can go from a joke, then Jojo goes home and kind of has to deal with Elsa and develop their relationship. And I think their relationship was heartfelt, where you see how scared he was, and slowly throughout this runtime he learns to care about her, and I love that. I love that kind of relationship of it's the epitome of don't judge a book by its cover, or the epitome of two unlikely people become friends and care for each other, and care for others. And I think I love that he can slowly over this film change his mindset, and I love him being like a dead press, Nazi youth to changing and growing as just a compassionate human being. And I love when he's like, F you Hitler, and I love that complete. And I love that being one of its last scenes was, again, there's so many callbacks, so many nods through earlier in the film, where it's like, where it is like when he says F you Hitler and kicks him out, that is a complete 180 to 360 to what he said in the opening scene of Hail Hitler. And I love that 180. I love how over this film it is not about you're just watching World War II through a Nazi's eyes. That's not what it is. It's this kid who is told one thing, learns another thing, and learns to be compassionate two others, in this case, Jews, and Elsa. And obviously the mother had a huge role, and I think the performances, even though this is a comedy and heartfelt and emotional, the performances were great. And I think that's another thing, is when you can have that perfect dose of everything, where you can have the emotion, the great characters and cast, and story, and callbacks, and nods, and a feel-good film in many ways. It's like it can be a feel-good film with Elsa and Jojo's relationship, but it can also be funny. It can be sad, scary, and yet there's some good war scenes towards the end, and having where it's like, yes, the mother dies, yes, the captain who was actually nice to him died, and all that stuff, but at the bottom line, you feel this satisfying tale with satisfying ending with the Americans winning. And I think that was interesting to see the final battle, and that was all interesting. The best part for me was the relationship between Elsa and Jojo growing throughout this film, and how he wants a sister. And again, like I said, like, you can literally go from like them both crying and sad about what's gonna happen to I love you, and then she's like, I love you too, as a brother. And it's these comedy moments that are like, okay, you can just have them crying about them having to leave each other, to a comedic moment, and it doesn't feel forced, because like, it makes sense. It follows the story. They're not just gonna be like, I'm gonna die, ha 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 ha, and then a joke. It's something. It's more natural. Taika Waititi knows how to make jokes that just, quite frankly, feel natural. And I think, yeah, I do feel that way. And I think, I was pleasantly surprised, because it was, I've heard, high acclaim from this film, but by the trailer, I feel like the trailers for this film, I feel like, don't do this film justice, because I think a lot of the big twists and turns and moments of this film are very something you can't really show in the trailers, because I don't know what you can show in the trailers that would put this film in a good light. And because I've seen people saying, like, this is the best of the year and the greatest of 2019. I'm like, what, this film? And then you watch this film, and while I wouldn't say it's the best of 2019, it's up there, so I really did enjoy this film a lot. Stay tuned for more videos coming at you.